On September the 25th, 2024, Putin announced changes to Russia's nuclear doctrine. He did this at a meeting of the Security Council on Nuclear Deterrence. The Russian dictator held such a meeting publicly for the first time. Putin proposed expanding the grounds for the usage of nuclear weapons. If the changes are adopted, Russia wants to use them against a non-nuclear state, but with some support from a nuclear country, as well as in response to a massive launch of cruise missiles, drones or other aircraft on Russian territory.
A whole series of actions and information have now been launched that should influence President Biden, convince him that Ukraine should not be given permission to use American or British missiles on targets on Russian territory. This is precisely what nuclear blackmail is aimed at.
International leaders condemn such rhetoric. The Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, QSDD members, composing in Australia, India, Japan and the United States, said the use or threat of use of nuclear weapons was unacceptable in the context of Russia's war against Ukraine.
We underscore the importance of upholding international law and, in line with the UN Charter, reiterate that all states must refrain from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity and sovereignty or political independence of any state. From a statement by the leaders of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue countries published on the White House website.
In Ukraine, the Kremlin's plans to change the nuclear doctrine are called blackmail. Head of the office of the president, Andriy Yermak, knows that such actions by Putin only indicate that he no longer has any other tools to intimidate the world. An advisor to the head of the office of the president of Ukraine, Mikhailo Podolyak, calls the statements of the Russian president a reputational low.
The Russian hysteria in connection with the possibility of lifting informal bans on strikes with Western weapons on Russian territory brilliantly characterizes their absolute cowardice, their extremely specific and disgusting ability to wage war only on unequal terms, their absolute fear of a possible defeat, and the legal and historical consequences that come from it, their increasingly strong reluctance to rely on adequacy and realistically assess events. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the office of the President of Ukraine on Telegram.
Despite Moscow's aggressive rhetoric, analysts at the American Institute for the Study of War believe that the Kremlin will not risk using its nuclear arsenal. In their opinion, such actions are aimed at containing Western aid to Ukraine. However, as the Washington Post notes, Moscow already realizes that nuclear threats do not frighten anyone.
Kremlin officials routinely invoke thinly veiled threats of nuclear confrontation between Russia and the West during key moments in Western political debates regarding further military assistance to Ukraine. ISW continues to assess that Russia is very unlikely to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine or elsewhere. From a report by the Institute for the Study of War.
Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Putin has repeatedly threatened to use nuclear weapons against the Ukrainian state. The only real risk of a nuclear strike arose in autumn 2022, when the Ukrainian army was liberating the Kharkiv region. As CIA Director William Burns stated, the Kremlin dictator will regularly threaten Western countries with nuclear escalation, but these threats should not be taken seriously. Reported by Dana Kolesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.